Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land, parallel and henchly. And I've been doing some thinking, and some looking into some shit, and some more thinking, and looking in, and thinking, looking in. You know how I am when I'm looking into something, when I get a hold of something. And I've been thinking and looking into it. And I gotta say, this whole thing with all these riots going on because of, supposedly because of George Floyd. Well, first off, stop calling them protests. The MSN is calling them protests. They're not protests. A protest is when you're walking around with signs, chanting, standing around, yelling, but no violence. That's a protest. No violence. You're standing around, you're sitting in, whatever. Those are protests. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Gandhi, those are protests. What Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and these scumbags now are doing is not protesting. It is rioting and looting and causing damage to private property, which is a crime in every fucking state of this country. Therefore, they should all be arrested and tried. But you see, the people who fund this, and yes, it is too well organized not to be funded, don't give a fuck. It's just another chance to rip up and kill America. Maybe make Americans so afraid to come out of their homes that come election day, nobody votes. And then a small percentage votes and it's all Democrat. And they get a Democrat person in and, oh, look, the Democrats are in power again, they won. No. We are right now dealing with a kind of civil war in America. It is a civil war funded by George Soros, the Clinton Foundation, Obama, and all the other terrorist groups. And yes, Antifa is a terrorist organization. As of today. Funny, the president finally declared them what me and every other patriot's been saying about them to be true. But, you see, it's too well formed not to be funded. If these rioters and looters truly, and I mean truly, down to the fucking core, truly believed in caring and making it about George Floyd, they would be rioting and looting and burning down police stations, private owned businesses in their own fucking neighborhoods. They would be having quiet, well, maybe not quiet because they'd be using blowhorns, but peaceful marches, sit-ins, and there would be a GoFundMe page set up to help support Mr. Floyd's family, of which I have seen nothing. This is just another excuse for the dumbass ignorant, lazy among our communities, African American, white, Islamic, Asian, Latin, I don't give a fuck, among our communities, to steal and get away with it. Therefore, they get free shit. Let's see who was offering free shit. Bernie Sanders was offering free shit. Kamala Harris, AOC, Yang, Buttigieg, the gay guy who dropped out shortly before Buttigieg, Robert Francis York, aka Beto O'Rourke, damn shit, everyone who's who's been running under socialism, or as they call it, democratic socialism, which honestly, there's no fucking such thing. You're either Democrat and free, or you're under socialism or a dictatorship. Another thing that's funny, not really funny, it's sad, is that these Democrat mayors that run these cities where all these protests have been happening, all these riots and looting has been happening, all compare Trump to Hitler and said he was a dictator and everything, but yet the ones who called him that, they themselves are the ones acting like dictators. Not only are the mayors doing it, but the governors of the states are doing it as well. Now, finally, here in New York, President Trump has gotten Cuomo to open up New York State. Finally, that takes place tomorrow. I can't wait for New York to finally be reopened so we can get back to business as usual. Mom and pop stores open, making money, doing good for the fucking economy. That is the American dream. That you can come here with nothing, you can come here the legal way, have nothing to your name, and yet within 1 to 3, maybe 4 generations, make it where you don't have to ever worry about money again. That is the American dream, plain and simple. All of these rioters and looters, it's not even about the cop that killed Mr. Floyd. Another way to show that they don't give a fuck about George Floyd is if they did, they wouldn't be doing this all across the country, because the man, the cop that had his knee on his neck, has already been fired, arrested, and charged with murder in the 3rd degree and manslaughter. If they truly cared about Mr. Floyd, they would pay attention to the autopsy reports that have come out, which showed that him being arrested, period, would have killed him, because he had hypertension, high blood pressure, he had they don't know if it was undiagnosed or diagnosed, aortic aneurysm of the brain, which is one that's just sitting there waiting for something to happen and you're dead. He had, they said he had diabetes. I mean, he had a laundry list of things wrong with the man. So, he was a ticking time bomb waiting to die. Now, I'm not in any way excusing what the officer did, because that was wrong. And he's going to pay for what he did. But not only was that officer fired, but the other officers that were around, they too have been fired. Meaning they've all lost their livelihoods now. They cannot provide for their families. So why all of these riots and lootings going on across our country? Well, it's simple. It's to weaken our nation, to make Trump supporters and true patriots afraid to leave their homes, let alone to leave and vote. They want people to be afraid to leave their homes so that they have to use mailing in the absentee voter slips so that they can then, the Democrats, they being Democrats, can then take that, copy the signature and everything, and write in Democrat, and now a Democrat gets elected when in reality everybody voted for Donald J. Trump. It's called voter harvesting or ballot harvesting. They tried it in the 30s, I think the 40s. I think they even might have done it in the 50s, maybe the 60s. And it was shown to be corrupt as hell. Which is why a law was made against that very thing of using mail-in ballots. And why such strict restrictions were placed on how and when it is okay to use a mail-in ballot. It's that simple. Plus, with mail-in ballots, they can send them out to illegal aliens and the felons who, by law, cannot vote. But they get this ballot in the mail, this mail-in ballot. Oh, gee, I can vote. Okay, let me do this, this, and this. Let me vote all Democrats since it's them who sent it to me. Here you go. Democrats win. Ballot Harvesting 101. History 101. Wake the fuck up, people. These riots have nothing to do with Mr. Floyd. They are everything to do with trying to scare and intimidate patriots and the people in those communities who want a better way of life for their children and their grandchildren and so forth and so on. Who know the only way to get it is to have a strong president and a strong economy. Two things we have under President Donald J. Trump. Whether you like the man or you don't. And trust me, I don't agree with everything he does. He is still your president. He will be forever down in the books as your president. When Obama got elected, you didn't see patriots out there fucking rioting and looting and everything. You didn't even see them out there protesting. What did we say? We said, okay, we don't like this guy, we'll get him out in 4 years. 4 years came, he stayed in, we said, okay, thank God, he's only got it this time, and then he's the fuck out of there. And he did so much damage to this nation that a Democrat president will not get voted in until the year 4044. if you ask me. Because Obama did a lot of damage. Under Obama, he brought back segregation. Now that's something we got rid of in the 60s. And the nigga brought it back now. Granted, the segregation wasn't against the black people this time. No. He brought back segregation and he put it against the white people. And it starts out only on colleges. Well, there's certain areas you can't go if you're white on colleges. Well, I got news for you. If I went to college, I wouldn't give a fuck what a sign said. If I needed to sit down, I'd sit. And if anyone tried to get me to fucking leave because of the color of my skin, I'd call them a fucking racist. Because that is what they would be. A racist is someone who thinks that they are better than someone else simply because of the color of that person's skin. Now let's see, who does that sound like? The Dems, Black Lives Matter, all the groups that the Democrats are trying to tell you to support. Think about it, people. These riots and everything are not to do with Mr. Floyd. They are everything to do with, let's take the focus off of the failed fear-mongering of the Chinese Wuhan virus, because that's ending now. So we need something else to throw out there to distract people with. Boom. Here we go. White cop killed a black guy. Go. Run with the out there. Put fear in their hearts. Get them out there. Get them rioting. Get them looted. Keep them distracted. That's the globalists and the Democrats' plan of action. The Patriots and the conservative plan of action is simply to combat their bad ideas and combat their lies with good ideas, truth, facts, and science. They can be replicated multiple times using the exact same formula every time. These are the facts, people. Whether you like them or not. Whether you get triggered by my saying them or not. Facts, truth, and me don't give a fuck about your little feelings. All I care about, all facts and truth cares about, is being factually, grammatically, scientifically, logically correct in everything I do. You see, the left, the libtards, the AOCs and the Squads and the Sanders and Schumers and Pelosi and shifty little bitch shift of the world, they want you to try and be morally superior, morally right. I got news for you. You can never be morally right. But you can be factually, logically, grammatically, intellectually, scientifically correct. The reason you can never be morally correct is because everybody has a different set of morals. but everybody can see the same facts. Everybody can think logically. Everybody speaks the same language. Therefore, we use the same grammar. Therefore, you can be grammatically correct. And everybody is given the ability to think logically. That means to look at a situation and say, 1 plus 1 equals 2. And scientifically correct is easy as well, because that means you could take a formula that was given, say the formula that proves gravity, and use that same formula multiple times and come out with the exact same outcome. What's insane is if you do the same exact thing every time. Such as if you riot and loot the exact same time, every time something goes your way, that something doesn't go your way, and you expect for you to get ahead in life, for your neighborhood to become rich, that is insanity. You want a better neighborhood? Don't burn it down every time some piece of shit doesn't go your way. It's that fucking simple. It's called common sense, which unfortunately now is proven to be uncommon. I remember a time when common sense was common, everybody had it and everybody used it, and valor was common too. Now we had uncommon valor, which was people who would gladly run into a situation they knew nothing about to help save the life of another human. And you see it more on battlefields than anywhere else. But valor used to be common. Now, valor and common sense are becoming uncommon. And uncommon valor is extinct, damn near. What everyone needs to do is wake the fuck up. Stop and think for a minute. How are the actions I'm about to do going to better the situation I'm in or change it for the better? They're not, then I'm not going to do them. How are these actions I'm thinking about doing going to make everything better? Well, by peacefully protesting and not burning down a store or other business and keeping it peaceful and keeping the point and doing the right thing to help out someone's family, that's going to prove that we are right, we are just, and we are mature. That means more people will listen to us. The more people who listen to us means we have a better shot at having our cause taken seriously, which means we have a better shot at obtaining our goals. It's simple. But this video is already long, a lot longer than I expected it to be. So, I will say this. If you're new to the channel and you like the words that came out of my mouth hole, give me a thumbs up. If you really liked it, subscribe, hit that bell notification, share to your friends so that they can get a dose of truth with common sense. And please, for the love of all that you hold dear and holy, think for yourself. Do your own research. Don't just take what you hear at face value. Research it to see if it's true. Even what I'm saying, research it. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.